From our den to yours, it's Sports Den, another virtual edition here with JW Cox, and happy to be joined by John Hadden for the first time this season. John, it's good to have you in the little box on my screen, and it's good for the folks to be able to see you here on Sports Den too.
Thank you, JW. I couldn't come on too much before the hockey playoffs because I've been working on this flow for an entire year, and now it is ready for the postseason, and so am I.
We're all ready for the postseason. We've got plenty of postseason coverage coming up this week. We've got, count them, 12 highlights to get to. Some of that includes postseason swimming and diving coming up later in the program, but we've still got to wrap up some high school hockey from the regular season. So let's jump right in there with boys hockey and the Blaine Bengals taking on the Andover Huskies to get our highlight extravaganza started. Bengals had lost 3 straight the week prior, lost to Andover earlier this year 4-1. Trying to change those trends early in the first. Andover, Garrett Shifsky getting a little shifty with the 1-0 lead for the Huskies out of the gate. Still in the first, Bengals trying to answer. Landon Steffen on the doorstep, able to sweep it home in the celebration for a 1-1 tie late in the first. We stay that way going into the second. Andover trying to answer right back. Remember, that was a 4-1 score earlier in the year. Dun, dun, dun. Andover gets a second goal with Logan Gravnik able to get the tender sliding around there. Ryan Wallen trying to go sprawling for the save, and he couldn't get it. 2-1, Andover with the lead. We're still in the second, and a wraparound attempt ends up in the back of the net. Cooper Conway able to get the goal. It's 3-1. That's the third assist and as many goals for Gavin Thorson, by the way, as he had a whale of a day. Late in the third, empty net. Shifsky caps it off, and it's a 4-1 final. Andover beats the Bengals.
So Andover's pretty good. Centennial also quite good. They've won 6 straight coming into this matchup with the Huskies, who beat the Cougars earlier this season. In the first period, A.J. Carls breaking past the defender. New Power gets the second shot off. Will Larson making both saves to keep them off the scoreboard. Cougars deep in their own zone. Gavin Thornton able to take it away, gets it off to Garrett Shifsky. He scores his team-leading 21st goal of the season. Later on, Henry Bartle splitting the defense. Puck gets a little too far ahead of him. He can't make a play on it. No shot there. Peyton Blair and Mason Wistersill on an offensive rush. Shot at the side of the net, and Centennial just not able to get anything going against Andover. Into the second period, 5-on-3 is how we start. Thorson just barely saves this one in. It gets inside, and from there, it's about Shifsky. Again, his second goal of this game. So he scores on the 5-on-3. We move to a 5-on-4. Take another look, though, at Thorson holding this in. Keeps that in the zone, and that's what led to the Shifsky goal. Garrett Shifsky would score again. Man advantage now. Just 10 seconds later, he gets the natural hat trick. And Shifsky wasn't done. He would score 4 in this game. Here you look at an offensive rush, and Shifsky's going to finish it off to make it 4-0. Andover goes on to win 6-0 over the Cougars in the regular season finale.
All right, Andover twice, Cougars once. Let's go second time. We see the Blaine Bengals riding a 4-game losing skid after losing to Andover, facing number 3 Maple Grove. Late in the first, Maple Grove, Ethan Elias gets on the board first, makes it 1-0. It's the second time these two teams have met this year. 8-2, Crimson got them earlier. This time, just 3 minutes later, shorthanded, Ian Barber finds the back of the net. It's 2-0, and this one starts going down the road quickly. Maple Grove up 3-0 in the second. Shorthanded again, and it's Kyle Kukkonen, who already was on his way to a big assist day, gets his first goal. He ended up with 4 assists on the night to go with that single score. It's already 7-0 Maple Grove late in the third, and Elias, who got us started, called the Sports Bureau. He's got us finished too. 8-0 Maple Grove beats Blaine in this one.
Spring Lake Park hosting Coon Rapids, the Cardinals. In the first period, 45 seconds into the game, watching Blake Lewitt, because he skates right through the defense. Quick move to his backhand, scores. on Gavin O'Hanlon. 1-0 Panthers at that point. Into the second period, Cardinals defense again out of sorts. They turn the puck over right to Leighton Long, his shot. And then Brock Larson scores on the second opportunity. It's 2-0. More in the second. Lewick flies through the zone, skates past every single Cardinal on the ice and puts it past the final one in net. 4-0 at that point. Justin Boyd creating a turnover just outside the Cardinal zone. He takes the puck through the defender, skates, and passes over to Larson. He scores. 5-0 Panthers at that point, and we just keep going. Lewick swiftly moving past the defense again. Backhanded shot, and he is able to score. There come the hats. Little hat trick there for Lewick. It's 6-0 at that point. Blowout in the third period. Larson gets his third goal of the game on the power play. More hats. There were some left over, or they're throwing the same ones out there. 9-1, the final at the end of that one. Two skaters with hat tricks. Massive game for the Panthers. And as we look at the standings for the Northwest Suburban, with the regular season wrapping up at the beginning of this week, in fact, tonight and tomorrow night, we should see the final games around hockey for boys. And Centennial finished with their season 13-4-1. They're the top among our finishers, behind the undefeated Maple Grove in conference play Crimson and the Andover Huskies, who we just saw pick up 2 wins in these highlights. Blaine a couple spots down, then Spring Lake Park towards the bottom with 12 points this season.
And that means it's brackets time, too, as we get out of the regular season. Still a little bit TBD in that 6-7 matchup. Spring Lake Park, Osseo, they're going to go head-to-head and figure out who gets what. But we know at least where 2 of our teams are. Maple Grove and Coon Rapids, the 1-8 games to Tino Grace, and Champlain Park, the 4-5. And then Blaine gets that 6 seed, whoever that turns out to be. And Centennial gets the 7 seed. They could meet in the semifinals. Those coming up at home sites in the first round later this week. So that'll certainly be fun as we get into the postseason. You know who else is wrapping up, John? That would be girls hockey as well, getting to the nitty-gritty of the end of their season.
Absolutely. By the way, those boys games on Thursday for Blaine and Centennial will be at those. You and I will be at the Blaine. Nick Walsh will be out at the Centennial game. So we'll have coverage for you there as well. But let's jump into those girls hockey highlights. As Centennial was playing the co-op, Champlain Park, Coon Rapids. We're going to fast forward right after we show you this delightful net shot and the huddle on the other side. We're going to fast forward all the way to the third period because there was no scoring in the first 2 periods. In the third period, with just 3 minutes and 48 seconds in, Megan Goudreau on the power play gets the score off the feed from Lauren O'Hara, and Summer Francis gains an assist as well. Caitlin Gress, the other big contributor in this game, because as we said, it was scoreless at that point. As you take another look at the score from Goudreau, Gress got the shutout, made saves on all 15 attempts. It's a 1-0 victory for the Centennial Cougars. And Centennial, the top team for us, at least, right behind Andover and Maple Grove. A lot of consistency in those top 3 from the boys and the girls standings. Blaine right on the heels of Centennial on the girls' side. Anoka Spring Lake Park towards the bottom with 5 points as they wrapped up their regular season as well, the postseason beginning on Tuesday of this week.
And how will that postseason look? Well, it looks something like this. In the 5-2A brackets, Rogers, Champlain Park, the 4-5 matchup, Centennial and Anoka Spring Lake Park, they've got the 3-6 matchup. Another game that we'll have. Maple Grove, the 1 seed, awaiting for either Rogers or Champlain Park and Rapids, and Blaine as the 2 seed, awaiting for a rematch with Centennial or Anoka Spring Lake Park. So it's that exciting time of year in hockey where you start getting some of those postseason feels going on. We've also got basketball coming down the stretch, so let's get you some boys basketball. A little double dip of that. We'll start with Blaine at Anoka to get things rolling. Tough stretch for the Blaine Bengals. They'd lost 5 straight and 6 of 7 going into this matchup on the road against Anoka, a team that they had beaten earlier this year in a nail-biter by 2 points. You know what's worth 3 points? Most of the shots that A.J. Call takes. That early lead, he takes that one, knocks it down at 7-6. How about defense to offense? Rejection by Sam Olsen to the transition. And it's 2021, so a transition look is a 3-pointer. Bang, A.J. Call hits another. Anoka, well, trying to stay tough after a call 3 again will put them up 7. Anoka comes back, a little bit of slip, little hesitation, and a drive and a finish. Keenan Rodriguez makes it a 2-point game at the time. We're late in the first. Cutting still happens in basketball. Max Stepanek does a lot of it. Good cut to the bucket. A 9-0 run to finish the first half for the Bengals to take a lead at the break. Ooh, there's a pretty little finish from Dylan Myers. He cuts to the rim too. He was fouled and put it home. Blaine up 7, 4 minutes into the half, and there's AJ Call again for a triple. Turns it into a 10-point lead. He had 14. Another double-figure score. That's Olsen again from Stepanek. They're up 12. Little defense for Anoka to narrow a 9-point game down to 7. Jay Namari with the steal and the bucket, but too much Blaine. Little offensive glass inside from Olsen. He ended actually with 20 points as they salted away the win.
On to a look at Spring Lake Park at Blaine in boys hoops. The Panthers getting the long ball going early, taking a 10-4 lead on that shot. Blaine getting back into the action, trying to continue their strong shooting from the outside, nailing that look as well. Bengals with some struggles, though, really working after it. In the end, Spring Lake Park has it here early in the second half, trying to extend the lead. The scoop doesn't go. Kind of a cluster on both ends, but it finishes in a Spring Lake Park bucket. They're up by double digits at that point. More from the Panthers, who try to feed it into the post. Blaine looking to score in transition. Little Euro step. Flips it up and gets the roll off the rim. The finish for Blaine, keeping it within single digits at that time. But Blaine needs more. Down by 10 again here in the second half, about midway through, finding the open man in the corner as the comeback continues. Bengals still, every time we go to a new highlight, find themselves down 10. Not sure what's happening in between, but the Bengals keep putting up buckets, and somehow Spring Lake Park answers on the other end each and every time. Less than 3.5 minutes to go, though, as Blaine now pulling it within 3. Their last 3, not good. Next one, yes, just enough to send it to overtime. So the Bengals on their home court force the OT session against a very strong Spring Lake Park team. They are pumped up, but what do they have in the final few minutes of this game? Tied at 70, under a minute to go. The lay-in for Spring Lake Park gives them the lead. And on the other end, Blaine again trying something at the end. They don't get the shot to drop down 4. It's iced at the free throw line, and Spring Lake Park wins 75-70 in overtime. Look at the standings as we get close to the postseason there as well. Spring Lake Park flipping the standings from what we saw on the hockey side. The boys, the tops among our 3 teams, finishing 8-5. And then Blaine 4-8 in the Northwest Suburban, Centennial 1-12.
And we got brackets there too. Selection Sunday was yesterday, so we got brackets all over the place. Champlin Park, Irondale, the 1-8 seed in 5-4A boys basketball. A good 4-5 matchup with Spring Lake Park and Osseo. Like that Spring Lake Park team, like John mentioned, that's a strong season that they are off to. Park Center, Roseville, that's the 3-6. Centennial in as the 7 seed, and they'll take on Mounds View. So they avoid Champlin Park there in a potential first round, but Mounds View will be a lot to handle there in 5-4A. What about 7-4A, John?
Well, what about it? Oh, Andover got the bye as the number 1 seed, sure. But then Blaine and Coon Rapids are meeting up in the 4-5. Forest Lake at 3 will take on Cambridge Ice Santee. And Duluth East is the 2 seed against number 7, Anoka. All of those quarterfinal round matchups starting on Saturday. And then we'll look into next week for Andover to get it back into the action. Andover having a heck of a year in winter sports.
Yeah, it's like, remember a few years ago, it was St. Michael Albertville, and they were going to state championships in all kinds of sports. I feel like that is the kind of what Andover has tapped into, and we'll certainly see how that continues to roll on. You know, another team that gets on rolls like that, another program, Centennial girls basketball. You know it, they're very good almost every single year, and they've done it again. They've got one loss this year, John. It's to Elk River. They got a chance last week to avenge that one loss to Elk River. Let's roll it in to girls basketball. This is a showdown right here. These two teams always tops. They're at the top 10 matchup. Elk River's number 5, Centennial number 7. Only loss of the season for the Cougars to Elk River. They won 5 straight into this matchup. After that loss, Elk River gets it started. Joanna Langbin, the cut and the bucket, as these two teams would pretty much trade almost exact buckets. A cut inside for Jenna Geyer and the bucket at the rim. How about a lob inside, the hoop, and the harm? Yes, Ellie Moss plus the foul for Elk River Zimmerman. All right, what you got, Centennial? How about the lob inside, Jody Anderson, the harm, and the hoop? Teams are pretty much in lockstep right there, and that's how this game would go. Good little handoff to Geyer for the mid-range. She's got that 2. Centennial led 28-23 at the half. Into the second half, Geyer, talk about another move, step across the lane and hook it up with that left hand. Little pressure defense from Centennial. We've seen that before. Marissa Frost to the transition game for the bucket. Elk River Zimmerman not going away, though. Did I say Elk River Zimmerman again? It's just Elk River. This isn't hockey. Three-pointer up there from the right side, and Ellie Barr trying to shoot him back in with the 3. Another 3 from Barr. She had 12 in the game. Back to the well for Geyer, though. In the post, can't stop it. 14 for Geyer. And then, with Elk River battling, Langbin gets the offensive glass, goes up for 2, her 1,000th point in the process. Yeah, you stop the proceedings for that. Big moment for her to get her 1,000th point. Cougars, though, too much in the end, and they close it out and avenge that loss 54-45. 7 straight wins now after they beat Rogers late last week, and they're 17-1. You look at the recap of this, Anderson with 15 points and 10 rebounds with a double-double there. Geyer also a double-double. Marissa Frost with 9 points. Sydney Cubes also chipping in 8. And Camille Cummings, who knocked down that free throw late, with 5. Barr with 12. Moss with 11. And Langbin on her big day with 11 points as well. But big win for the Cougars as they are rolling down the stretch of the regular season.
Time for more ladies hoops. Blaine at Spring Lake Park. Panthers home gym, only half of it open. And here we go. Allison Terry from the top early on for Blaine, drives and just flips the shot up and in. No big deal. Blaine still in the early goings. Madison Haney driving for the bucket. Nicely done there as she finishes. On the other end, Panthers. Cameron Smith feeds inside to Kylie Diaz, whose post patience pays off. Bucket for her. She finished with 8 in the game. Now Jenna Klubeck steals the inbound, dishes to Taylor Falvey. She converts the layup for 2 of her 4 points in this matchup. On the drive, Maddie Ngeni takes it to the baseline, kicks to the top for Avery Dunbar, but she'll drive inside herself, includes a behind-the-back move, and she finishes at the rim. Now pass to a cutting Jade Bryan. Yeah, there's more than one player that cuts. She creates the contact and hits the shot while drawing the foul call. Macy Smith, pull-up jumper from the free throw line, 31-27, Panthers at the half. Into the second, what happens when you break the press? Easy baskets down court. Michaela Thomas knows that, and here's her knowledge in action. Both of her points scored right there. Spring Lake Park up 14 when Klubeck nails this three-pointer. It's a 20-7 run to start the second half for the Panthers. Now a nice set piece here for Spring Lake Park, and the play resulting in a Cameron Smith lay-in. Easy does it, 8 points for Smith in the game. Off a Bengals miss, the rebound stolen away by Macy Smith. She finds Terry leaking out for a lefty lay-in. Smith with 5 points in the game. Offensive rebound for Ngeni here. Straightaway score for Macy Smith, the only player in double figures in this game. She led all scorers with 20. Panthers win 68-40 over the visiting Blaine Bengals. As I mentioned, Smith with 20, Ngeni, Cameron Smith, and Diaz all with 8 points. Scoring really spread out in that 5 to 8 points range for everyone but Macy Smith, as her points just about the difference and then some in the victory for Spring Lake Park.
Take a look at the girls basketball. I've been letting you do it all show, but I just thought, why not? Just jump in and do it. Centennial, Spring Lake Park, Blaine. That's how our teams finished up 12-1 for Centennial. And you, John, can get us to those girls basketball brackets. Get us started with 5-4A.
Thank you very much. Osseo, number 8, will be at Centennial to start things off. Champlain Park and Park Center in the 4-5 matchup. Spring Lake Park is the 3 seed, taking on Mounds View, the 6 seed. and Roseville and Irondale, the 2 and 7 seeds respectively in Section 5-4A.
We got another bracket, 7-4A. Forest Lake gets the bye. They'll face either Andover or Anoka. Blaine, Coon Rapids, first round there. Cambridge, Isanti, and Duluth East in girls basketball. All right, let's go back inside. A little gymnastics. Limber up. Everybody get ready to go. And we've got Centennial and Blaine. You thought you'd get out of here without a cat clash? No, you were wrong. It's another cat clash this time. We'll vault, we'll do the bars and the beam, and we'll have a floor exercise, just like any cat would like to do. Gymnastics, Blaine, Centennial. Getting us started with the vault, Jennifer Riley finished third with that excellent attempt. 9:05 was her top score there. Grace Gerard in second place on the vault, vaulting into your living room with that 9:075 effort. They gave her second place. Audrey Noah on the board first for the Centennial Cougars. She's been one of the top all-around gymnasts all season long. And there it is, with a 9:175 was her top vault, take the top spot in the event. On to the bars, the parallel bars, and Audrey Noah right there again with us. Her routine that would earn her a second place finish in the event. Top score for her in that was an 8.825. Grace Gerard back with us again. She took the top spot, just edging out Audrey Noah with her parallel bars routine. Gerard, 8.875 for that effort. Cougars swept the top two spots on the beam. Addie Border, an even 9.0, followed by Audrey Noah, back with us again for the third straight event, 9.275. I wasn't kidding when I said she was one of their best all-around gymnasts. To the floor, and yep, that's Audrey Noah again. She would take second place in the floor, 9.125 for her efforts there. And then Grace Gerard, who we've seen now for a third time in our 4 events, she would actually take the top spot in the floor routine, 9.325 for Gerard. It was Centennial, though, that just edged out Blaine with the final. Look how tight that is, 135.925 to 134.125. They take the cat clash. You look at some of the top finishers overall, you see the top 5 for all of those in the team results. So again, a lot of Grace Gerard. Congrats to her on those top finishes, the bars and on the floor. Audrey Noah taking the vault and the beam as 2 of the tops there in the meet. How about swimming and diving, John? That would promise the folks some actual playoffs, not just brackets. So let's start it out with some swim and dive into the pool.
I'll jump in with the 5-2A swimming final. Spring Lake Park competing. Here we look at the 200-meter relay. 2 freshmen, a sophomore, and a junior. And it's Sam Clark pulling in for second place with that quartet of youngsters. Nicely done in the 200 medley relay by those 4. Nathan Kronster, who led off that 200 medley relay, now taking 5th place in the 200 freestyle, a freshman doing quite nicely there in a sea of Trojans. To the 200 IM, and for Spring Lake Park, it's the junior Nick Starcevich beating Trojans like he's King Agamemnon. Look at him in first, everyone else 2, 3, 4, 5, all Trojans, but Starcevich way out in front. Third and fourth, Ripken and Clark, 2 sophomores for Spring Lake Park in the 50 freestyle. By the way, a little trivia for you. Al Clark was the umpire the night that Cal Ripken Jr. broke Lou Gehrig's record for consecutive games. Ripken and Clark meeting again in third and fourth there for Spring Lake Park. On the board for diving, the 8th grader Sebastian Santiago finished tied for 5th. Luke Essler finished 7th. He's a junior. To the 100 butterfly, Will Pravatsky finishing second place. Nice job by the junior, the freshman Isaiah Fry, finishing in 5th place. Both of them were on that 200 meter or medley relay that we saw at the very beginning. In the 100 freestyle, another first place for Nick Starcevich. 2 firsts on the day for him. Braden Ripken finishing in 4th place. Nice showing by the sophomore. In the 200 freestyle relay, by more than 2.5 seconds, the Spring Lake Park squad wins it. No seniors as they take the top spot in the 200 freestyle relay. 100 backstroke, Spring Lake Park's concert finishes 3rd behind 2 Wayzata seniors. Good showing there for the freshmen. in the 100 backstroke, and then on to the 100 breaststroke, where Will Pravatsky will take second place. Good showing by the junior. Spring Lake Park finished second as a team if you looked at team points from the event. But for a lot of these individuals, it's all about punching that ticket to state, and plenty of Panthers representing well in Section 5-2A. Take a look at the overall marks that we showed you. You see a lot of firsts, a lot of seconds. The kind of numbers that are going to put these guys at the state tournament. Congratulations to those young men.
We also had the section meet in 7-2A at Northdale Middle School. We don't even just not have graphics in the pool. I won't have a King Agamemnon reference or even a Cal Ripken Jr. reference. I wish I did, but we got a lot of Centennial Cougars qualified for state and a lot of good finishers for the Blaine Bengals. If you enjoy those that swimming roll by in the 200 free, the 200 IM, Duluth would end up taking this team meet, followed by Coon Rapids and Anoka in the top three. Centennial, our top team, finishing in fourth overall. Blaine in seventh. 50 free right here. Hunter Belting took first place. He's had a tremendous season. He's qualifying for state. He's one of 4 qualifiers for the Cougars for the state meet, including diver Riley McNamara. He finished third place in order to qualify. Aiden Gillen in the 100 free and Liam Goulet, a second place finished in the 500 free. To spoil some of that, would also qualify for state. How about Timothy Rotter, one of the top individual finishers for the Blaine Bengals in the diving? He finished in fourth with a total score of 332.05. So we move to the second half of the meet. As again, looking for those qualifiers in the 100 fly. Jace Dayton would take one of the top finishes for the Bengals in this event, as he would finish in seventh for the Blaine Bengals. Onto the 100 fly as well on the second day. That's actually when Dayton was doing his swimming. Caleb Murithi also finishing with a top spot, not in this event, but with a ninth place finish in the 200 free earlier in the highlight. The boys 100 free for Centennial. That's where Aiden Gillen did his work and came in second place to finish and qualify for the state meet. Blaine again, that 100 free. Well, that was a good finish there for the Blaine Bengals and Murithi yet again. Mackey as well. Here's the 500 where you got Liam Goulet with a second place finish and a time quick enough to get him into the state meet as well in the longest event there. The 200 free relay, well, this has been a good one for the Cougars all year long, but could not get the team qualifying there. The 100-yard breaststroke coming in section 7-2A, and again, Duluth and Anoka, Forest Lake dominating some of this. Blaine finished fourth in the 400 free, one of their top individual finishes, with Centennial also a good finish on their day in the 400 free as well. Blaine, that fourth place finish, one of their best finishes for a relay team on the day. All in all, 4 qualifiers for state for the Centennial Cougars, as they would come in fourth place as a team. You look at some of those top finishers and their times, circle in on that 50 free. Aiden Gillen with a good one there, but it was also Hunter Belting with that first place finish, also setting some records as he has done throughout the year. And as mentioned, Centennial, fourth place finish overall. Blaine with a 7th place finish overall. All right, well, that was the playoff feel, John, and we'll have plenty more of that. As we mentioned, we've got some playoff hockey coming up this week. Go to northmetrotv.com, and I know that they'll update all of that with everything that happens with those brackets, and maybe we'll even get a feature on your hockey hair going on, your playoff flow.
Let's keep it to the action on the ice. That'll be the most important thing.
All right, and when you talk about action on the ice or the court or in the pool, don't forget to go out and support your teams. Go Bengals.
Go Cougars.
And go Panthers. Bye, everybody.